Elvis Presley's transformation from a humble boy from Tupelo, Mississippi, to the king of rock and roll was nothing short of meteoric. But with this extraordinary rise came an equally extraordinary struggle to hold on to his roots. As Elvis's fame exploded across America, a battle brewed between his wild lifestyle and the comforting familiarity of home, particularly at Graceland, his newly acquired mansion. Graceland became a lifeline for Elvis, a place where he could escape the chaos of constant touring and record-making, but it wasn't easy. His career demanded everything: recording albums, going on tour, starring in movies, and appearing on TV shows. One typical year, Elvis barely set foot at Graceland during his first year with his family. When he was home, the rhythm of his performer's life was hard to shake. He'd stay up all night after shows, sleep in late the next day, and seek solace in the quiet hours of dawn. This nocturnal lifestyle became a shield, allowing him to dodge the awkward moments that came with being a superstar in public. Business owners and managers saw an opportunity in Elvis's unusual habits. They accommodated his late-night antics, opening stores and arranging after-hours movie screenings just for him and his inner circle. Elvis loved the freedom. He could shop till dawn or watch movies late into the night without worrying about disrupting normal life. This included fun outings like late-night trips to the fairgrounds or roller skating parties at the local rink. Elvis was carving out an alternative world, ruled by his own whims. This world was further fortified by a tight-knit group of male friends who became his constant companions. Guys like Tom Parker Jr., Jimmy Gleaves, and others formed an inner circle by the summer of 1957. They were nightly visitors at Graceland, and as Elvis's fame grew, so did his desire to have them around all the time. Their presence offered comfort, especially in faraway Hollywood where Elvis felt insecure. Unlike his parents, these friends encouraged Elvis's youthful indulgences, even though Elvis tried to guide them towards better behavior. He warned them against swearing and drinking, but his influence was strong, and so was their desire to stay close to the star. As Elvis's fame exploded, so did the changes at home. His mother, Gladys, found herself increasingly worried. She loved Graceland but couldn't shake the feeling that her son was slipping away from her. Elvis's visits became shorter, and his behavior more erratic. Gladys would sit in the kitchen, staring out the window, her heart heavy with fear for her son's well-being. Her relationship with Elvis grew strained, and she began drinking heavily, often lost in thought. Friends and family noticed the toll Elvis's success was taking on Gladys, with some blaming his rapid rise to fame for driving her into depression. Elvis wasn't oblivious to the cost of his success. During a rare moment of honesty at Easter services in 1957, he told a minister, "I have got more money than I can spend. I have thousands of fans and lots of people who call themselves my friends, but I am miserable." The pressure was immense from the hostile press, the constant touring, and the weight of responsibility for his family. Despite the joy of providing for his parents and sharing his success with friends, Elvis often felt trapped, like he was living in a fishbowl, with no escape from the scrutiny and demands of fame. In the midst of this chaos, Elvis found moments of clarity. He expressed to his sister Dixie a desire to walk away from his stardom, feeling overwhelmed by the expectations placed upon him. Yet he quickly realized the gravity of his responsibilities. "It's too late for that," he told her. "There are too many people that depend on me. I'm in too far to get out." As Elvis's career hurtled forward, he juggled performances across the country, from the Northeast to the Pacific Northwest, and even contemplated a European tour. But behind the scenes, Colonel Parker, his manager, had his own reasons for keeping Elvis stateside, including the risk of exposing his status as an illegal immigrant. Despite the controversies, from fan riots to protests and even hate from some teens, Elvis pressed on, trying to balance his wild lifestyle with the growing demands of his role as a public figure. In those early days, as Elvis's fame reached dizzying heights, one thing was clear: the boy from Mississippi was struggling to find himself amidst the glitz and glamour of stardom, all while desperately clinging to the simple life he once knew at Graceland. In late October, Elvis Presley performed at a big concert in Los Angeles. This event marked a turning point for the young star. After the show, some people in the crowd, including parents with their kids and reporters, were not happy. They criticized Elvis's music and dancing, comparing it to things they considered very negative. The police even warned Elvis that he might face trouble if he didn't tone down his energetic performances. Feeling the pressure, Elvis decided that touring might not be worth the stress. With his manager, Colonel Parker, he chose to focus more on his growing career in movies. This shift was made easier by a contract he had with Paramount Pictures, which allowed him to make films for other studios too. Elvis's first movie was a Civil War drama called The Reno Brothers, later renamed Love Me Tender. He was very eager to impress the director and his co-stars. The studio changed the script to let Elvis sing more songs, and the movie was retitled to highlight his musical talent. Even though Elvis was nervous and felt the final version wasn't perfect, the film was a huge success. It made a lot of money, second only to a big movie called Giant starring Elizabeth Taylor and James Dean, who had recently died. Hollywood life was a big change for Elvis. He loved being in the city, meeting famous people, and making new friends among the actors. He became especially close to Nick Adams, who was close to the late James Dean. Elvis also met rising stars like Dennis Hopper, Russ Tamblyn, and Natalie Wood. He spent a lot of time with them, exploring the city and enjoying its glamour. Natalie Wood found Elvis very sweet and polite, a nice change from the tough kids she usually hung out with. Elvis's next film for Paramount was Loving You, a story about his rise to fame. This role was a comfortable fit for him. The movie did well, and Colonel Parker managed to get Elvis a substantial bonus. The film's success led to Elvis making his next movie, Jailhouse Rock, for MGM. This film was a real hit. It featured great music, exciting dance routines, and a strong performance from Elvis. The movie did very well, becoming one of the top films of the year. Before his Army enlistment, Elvis made his final movie, King Creole. Based on a best-selling novel, the film was set in New Orleans and featured more complex roles for Elvis. Directed by a veteran filmmaker, King Creole was another success, both with critics and audiences. It showed Elvis's growth as an actor and musician, solidifying his status as a major talent in Hollywood. The movie did well at the box office, reaching number 5 on Variety's chart. These movies marked a significant shift in Elvis's career. Moving from concerts to films allowed him to reach a broader audience and showcase his talents in new ways. Despite the challenges and criticism, Elvis's work in movies helped establish him as a cultural icon, paving the way for his enduring legacy. Elvis Presley, the popular singer who was also dreaming of becoming a serious actor, faced a big challenge when he joined the Army. Before his time in the military, he worked hard on his acting skills, learning from others and studying famous actors like Marlon Brando and James Dean. He wanted to be more than just a heartthrob, he wanted to be taken seriously in movies. He even changed his appearance, getting his teeth fixed and dyeing his hair black. However, just as Elvis was starting to gain respect in the film industry, the Army Draft Board said he had to join the military. This was a shock to him and many others who thought his career would continue uninterrupted. The Army offered him different options, like being a recruiter or leading a special company for promotion, but Elvis decided to enlist as a regular soldier. His manager, Colonel Parker, thought this was the best way to clear up the controversies surrounding Elvis and let him keep some connection to show business. Elvis reluctantly agreed, trying to reassure everyone that he was just like other soldiers, but he was worried. He feared for his career and wondered if people would forget about him while he was away. Before leaving, he completed the movie King Creole, finishing up what he could in Memphis with his family and friends by his side. On March 24, 1958, Elvis reported to the draft board in Memphis. It was a big event with lots of reporters and photographers. After some delays, he said goodbye and headed to Fort Chaffee, Arkansas, for processing. The press followed him, but the Army eventually asked to limit the coverage. Elvis's induction into the army was a big media event, showing how public figures were now part of everyday news. But beyond the media spectacle, his decision to join as a regular soldier was important. It showed he was willing to follow the same rules as everyone else, which helped many people see him in a new light. It also meant he risked his career by giving up his performing life for 2 years. At first, Elvis missed home a lot. But he soon made friends with his fellow soldiers. His humor and hard work during training earned him respect. He did all the tasks like cooking and guard duty just like the others. His comrades realized that Elvis was not just a celebrity but a soldier committed to his duty. Elvis's time in the army was a big change. It transformed him from a controversial figure to someone seen as patriotic and willing to serve. It also showed that he was serious about his military service, contrary to some initial doubts. Though it was tough, it was part of growing up and proving himself, not just as an artist but as a responsible citizen.